Hey everybody, welcome back to the Dungeon Dive. Daniel here. I hope you're doing well, and if you're not, I hope you are soon. Okay, this is going to be a little bit of a weird video. It's kind of a one thing I love about, and I think that's what I'm going to call it. But it's also a mini review. I'm not quite sure where this video fits, but we are taking a look at the True OSR, aka Obsolete Shitty Rules. This is a tongue-in-cheek RPG that has one thing that I really do love about it. It's actually an entire chapter, but I have very mixed to negative feelings about the game itself. It is a game made very specifically for a certain type of game player. Let's take a little look at this. This is a very tongue-in-cheek kind of parody game. Hey nerds, yes, I'm talking to you who peeked at this RPG book cover. Do you expect to be thrilled by what you read? Well, you hit the jackpot today, mate. The True OSR, or Obsolete Shitty Rules. Calling this an OSR game, I think is a little bit of a stretch. In the same way that calling Morkborg an OSR game is a little bit of a stretch. I think these are more NSR games or new school rules, and maybe we'll talk a little bit about that why, and I'm sure you'll see why. But again, I guess that's just kind of genre semantics there. This is an old school genre RPG parody, an irreverent and satirical tabletop RPG capable of mocking stereotypes through parody and the healthiest ultraviolence you can crave. Okay, so let's take a little bit of a look at the rules here. You can very easily tell that it is highly inspired by Morkborg in the layout and the kind of craziness and the kind of, for some people, the headache-inducing layout. But I actually really like the layout and the art style and that UI style of Morkborg, so I kind of like this. So what makes this game different, what I think puts this game more into kind of the NSR camp, and what makes this game, I think, stand out from other RPGs is this is a highly, highly competitive game. The relationship between, or at least rules as written, the relationship between the GM and the players is highly adversarial. And so here we have the golden rule for the players. Show no respect for authority. The GM has absolutely no power. Her words are nothing but the narrator's voice of what the book you are holding establishes by its rules. You can check the manual at any time to see whether the GM is following the rules and results of her roles, which must always be shown publicly. You are the protagonist, not your master. The golden rule for the master: have no mercy. The players are nothing but pretentious and whining souls who have been given the task of playing the main role in your story. During the narrative, you will have to stick to the rules by using your flair to provide exhilarating descriptions of what the tables determine by rolling the dice, putting the PCs to the test, and sometimes directly challenging them. You are the real protagonist, not the players. In this game, both the players and the GM can earn experience points, and then they can spend experience points to do certain things. One of the things that the GM can spend experience points on is to manifest themselves in the game as an all-powerful ultra avatar boss to completely destroy the players. And it's supposed to be that kind of game where the GM is actively trying to destroy the players, and it's not, the GM isn't there just to facilitate the fun. And so if that sounds like something you might be interested in, you might really enjoy the rules for this game. Another thing that I think kind of separates this game out from a real OSR game is the fact that it's not really compatible with things like basic D&D or real kind of OSR or old school essentials or even basic fantasy. For one thing, you don't really have levels. You have 3 levels: low level, medium level, and high level. And depending on what level the character's on, they might do certain things. Character creation is very different. You will pick one of the 100 different classes. Yes, there are 100 classes. There are 100 different archetypes. And then those archetypes will kind of give you a package of things that you can have as a character in that archetype. This game is genre busting. It mixes fantasy, science fiction, post-apocalyptic, horror, superheroes. Everything is all together, and the characters are meant to kind of jump from one world to the next. There isn't really a cohesive setting. The rules themselves are pretty standard and pretty easy, but it's those differences that really make this stand out. Okay, so that was kind of the little micro review for OSR, Obsolete Shitty Rules. But now let's get into the one thing that I really do like, and the one reason why I did actually buy this game, and that is for Chapter 5, the tables. There are over 40 really cool, really useful D100 tables, and most of the book, all of this is all tables. Here's the rules. Here are the random tables. And they can be really handy for all kinds of things. So you have a table for achievements, animals, armor, archetypes, buildings, clothes, common items, consumables, contraptions, curses, death, disease, divinities, dungeons, enchantments, encounters, food and beverages, furniture, guilds, heroic attacks, heroic checks, implants, invocations, locations, magic items, the master, materials, monsters, mutations, natural hazards, personalities, plants, poisons and drugs, precious items, psych, quests, siege weapons, species, spells, tools, traps, treasures, twists, vehicles, weapons, and worlds. Oh, okay, so there are a lot of tables, and let's just go through some of them right now. I did want to make sure I had some D100 so we could roll up some examples here. The pages are very shiny, so sorry about any glare. Here we have a table for achievements, and so these are things that the PCs can do in order to have some direction, in order to have some different things to work towards. So what do we have here? Number 8, okay. An artifacts keeper. You must carry a magical or enchanted item when the GM appears. And so the GM can appear in the game as a boss, and you will have to face off against the GM. If you have an artifact on you and you are an artifacts keeper, you get 1 XP if you carry 3 or more. Okay, 34. Here's another achievement you might have to overcome, or might have to. You are the experienced explorer. You must reach a location. If you do 1x plus 1 XP, and if you succeed within 24 hours. So these are just different things that the players will be able to do. Here we have a whole list of D100 tables. They're all D100 roles of different animals and different ways to modify those animals, their age, youngster, middle age, elder, or colossal animal, and all kinds of different things here, and different characteristics that the animals might have. 59, what kind of animal would that be? That would be a mole with 2 HP. They have claws that do D1 damage. They can move by digging. They have a strength of -4, reflexes -2, a move of 3, a mind of 5, or -5, reaction of -1, and a spirit of 0. Or perhaps we have 33. We have the flamingo. So yeah, all kinds of different animals. Most of these are mundane animals. Here we have a D100 chart for armor. And we might have 83 here. So let's see, 83. A space soldier armor. It has 30 HP. It has an armor value of 5. An M of -1. I believe that's movement, and a value of 8,000. And so you will have different things here for you can roll up your armor. When the armor is found, it can be in different conditions from, prime condition to cursed or enchanted, or maybe it's already damaged. And so there are all kinds of different armors here. And then we get into the archetypes, and these can all be classes that the player characters can play as, and they can also be used for NPCs. And so if we go here to 66, lots of doubles today, man. Too bad I'm not playing Kernathalis. I would be hitting a lot of critical hits there. Let's see, 66. Speaking of Kernathalis, I will have my review of that soon, and also a big kind of comparison video with that and a whole bunch of other pen and paper dungeon crawls. Okay, 66 is the psionic character. A name could be Obi Chuzanobi, age 36. After a long and exhausting training with the Jedi Knights, as you can see, very tongue-in-cheek here, having learned the mental manipulation techniques transmitted from master to master, Obi Chu found out what the true practical applications of this power are and how to get the best out of it. Staying on the sofa all day and grabbing beers without taking a step, of course. And you will have your what species they are, their hit points, their personality, what equipment they have, and then their powers that they have at low level, medium level, high level, and epic level. Okay, there are actually 4 levels of play here. And so just 100 different character classes that come with a whole kind of group. They're kind of a tool kit of what you get. Here is a D100 for buildings here. Okay, 49. What building did we discover here? This is really handy if you ever need buildings. It's a monolith. It has a HP of 100, an armor value of 2, a value of 10,000. It's tall and tapering stone monument. So all kinds of different buildings we might find here. 37, let's say 73. A shop has a HP value of 180, an armor value of 2. It's worth 100,000. Building used for the sale of 1 D100 times 10 treasures, 50% of the times all the same type, which it has 1D10 racks, 1 desk, and attended by a certain archetype and a certain number of workers. Okay, so as you can see, you can roll up some pretty interesting details very quickly. Here we have a D100 table for clothing. 69 here, 69, it's a shirt with an HP of 2 and a value of 40. We have a table of common items, a table of consumables. We have contraptions. We have all of these various curses. This curse table is pretty cool here, 76. Let's see what curse 76 is. The curse of sight. You see in black and white only and suffer a -1 on all sight-based checks. Here we have a D100 deaths. And so when your PC dies, they have to roll on this table to see what happens to them. 30 here. Let's turn to 30 and see dying curse. You die and you can place a curse as last words on any target. So you can roll up one of those curses. Here we have a table for diseases, for divinities. We have a table for dungeons. So all kinds of different dungeons. 45 here. Let's see, where's 45? This is a quarry. A place dug into the bare rock to extract natural mineral resources. It usually contains 1D10 tools, 1 D100 portions of a single material, and 1D10 -8 treasures. And so here it gives you some more subtables too, some more things to define those dungeons by. We have different types of enchantments, different types of encounters, from traps to creatures to animals and monsters. We have a whole bunch of different foods and beverages, different types of furniture, different guilds, so you can roll up a random guild. We have heroic attacks that the characters can do. We also have heroic checks for the characters to overcome. We have implants, so different kinds of cybernetic implants. So this also has some cyberpunk stuff to it. We have invocations, so these are kind of magical spells that you can cast. Different locations. I really like this table a lot. This is a good table, especially coupled with that buildings table. So we have 65 for a random location. Let's see here, 65. It's a popular district. This area is part of a city complex. Roll 1d10. From 1 to 5, it's a city. 6 to 8, it's a metropolis. 9 to 10, it's a megalopolis. And a 1d10% of it is made up of houses. It is an area where law enforcement agencies have little influence and is attended by 1d100 criminals, 1d100 thieves, and 1d100 times 10 homeless, and has a danger value of +6. So all kinds of cool locations. Here we have a table of D100 magical items. Very cool. What is that? This is the master. So when the master comes into play, they will roll on this table here, and they will come in as one of these bosses. And these bosses might have hundreds or maybe 1,000 hit points, and they are meant to pose a major threat to the characters and possibly kill them. We have different materials here, different types of monsters, all kinds of different monsters that the players can face off against. If you want to play kind of a post-apocalyptic game here, Gamma World style, we have all of these different mutations, natural hazards that you can face off against, different personalities, different types of plants, poison and drugs. We have precious items, the psyche. We have different quests. So let's see what kind of quest we can go on here. 36. Okay, 36 is escape. The PCs start in a medieval world in a desert location, intent on participating in a holy war. After only one day of sieging an enemy city, the adversaries gain the protection of a divinity. So those are all keywords that you roll up on those tables to plug in the various differences, or to get the variety of this quest. They're forced to flee right in the middle of a bloody battle while the news spreads that the ships with which they arrived and which are stationary on the coast have been sunk. Success. Return unarmed to a port to embark for other shores without being noticed. Failure. Get enslaved. Remain in the starting place. So all kinds of different quests that you can roll up. We have siege weapons. We have different species that you can play as, or that can be NPCs. All kinds of different magical spells, different types of tools, all kinds of different traps. This is really cool. I love this trap table. Different types of treasures, and then you can roll up on the specific charts for each one of these subcategories. Different types of twists that can happen while the characters are on adventures. Different types of vehicles there. Different kinds of weapons with subcategories for the weapons. We have different worlds. And so here is the world hopping, the kind of genre hopping capabilities of this game, because you can go to random worlds. Maybe you go to 88. And so what kind of world is 88? That would be a swamp dimension. The whole world is swampy, and the creatures here are all amphibians. It has a danger value of 3 and a population of 1d100 million. Let's see, 37 here. Let's look up world 37. A gothic future world. In this mechanized world, the technologies are very advanced, but in the hands of the clergy. Everyone believes in a divinity, and anyone who doesn't is considered a heretic. Oh, hey, that is Warhammer 40K right there in a single sentence. And yeah, and then that is it. So yes, as you can see, very tongue-in-cheek, very kind of purposefully edgy. It's not being edgy to be cool. It's being edgy to be dorky. It's making fun of edginess. And that's, oh my, I just noticed purple and green. I happened to pick 2 dice that match the color scheme of the game. Huh. Serendipitous. But anyways, well, I hope you enjoyed this kind of combination video. A really quick look at one thing I love, all the tables, and a really small little micro review that might tell you what kind of game this is. And maybe if it sounds interesting, you'll know it's for you. If that kind of tone, if that adversarial kind of gameplay doesn't sound interesting to you, then you might want to avoid this. Maybe just pick up the PDF for all of the tables that you might want to use in your solo games. So, all right, you guys. Well, I hope you enjoy taking a look at the true obsolete shitty rules. We will talk to you later. Bye-bye.